They say a five-star hotel runs like a machine well-oiled, shiny, exact. But that rainy Tuesday at the Royal Edge Hotel in downtown Chicago, the machine broke, and the only one who knew how to fix it was a waitress named Elena. Now, don't get me wrong, Elena wasn't just any waitress. She was 22, quiet, polite, and had this way of blending into the background like wallpaper. The guests barely looked her way, the managers often forgot her name, and most of her day was spent watching sleek little robots deliver trays with a grace no human could match. But behind that apron, behind those tired eyes, was someone who knew machines better than most engineers in that building. You see, she grew up an Indiana daughter of a mechanic rebuilding toasters, rewiring radios, salvaging parts from the junkyard with her dad. But life threw her a curveball, and instead of a degree in engineering, she got a job refilling glasses and bringing breadsticks. Then came the crash. It was lunch hour, and the top floor was buzzing with international investors. The hotel's pride and joy, a $10 million robotic chef and delivery system, was in full swing, slicing, serving, dancing across conveyor belts. Until suddenly it wasn't. Lights flickered. Arms froze midair. One robot spilled soup into a guest's lap. Another just gave up in the hallway. Within minutes, the whole place was in chaos. Engineers were flown in, laptops out, wires everywhere. Nothing worked. Nada. Elena, standing by the kitchen door, watched it all with the kind of focus most people save for survival. She saw the error code on the main server, and her heart skipped. She'd seen that one before in her dad's garage. She leaned into her supervisor, barely above a whisper. "I think I know what's wrong." He snorted. "You, Elena? You serve water. Let the real techs handle this." She bit her tongue, but she didn't walk away. 3 more hours passed. Engineers packed up. Management panicked. Dinner service was knocking, and the system was still flatlined. That's when Elena stepped forward again, this time straight to the top. "Let me try something. Give me 10 minutes. If it doesn't work, you've lost nothing." Maybe it was the desperation in the manager's eyes. Maybe it was the calm in hers, but he gave her the nod. Elena knelt by the server, no gloves of her own, just borrowed ones and a quiet resolve. One chef whispered, "She's going to fry it worse." But Elena tuned it all out. She reset a misconfigured feedback loop, patched a burnt processor with a trick her dad taught her using a metal bypass from a spare, then typed in override commands the others hadn't even thought to try. 6 minutes later, the lights blinked back on. Robotic arms twitched, conveyor belts hummed, and the entire system roared back to life like it had just taken a nap. Plates rolled out. Orders flew. And the dining hall, once a battlefield, broke into applause. The same engineers who had written her off stood there, slack-jawed. The manager stepped forward, looked her in the eye, and said, "You just saved this hotel." That night, Elena was no longer invisible. Word spread. Guests whispered. Staff stared. Even the head engineer asked her respectfully, this time, what she'd done. She tried to explain, but honestly no one really understood. What they did understand. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. By morning, corporate had heard. Rachel Lynn Sharp's suit, sharper eyes flew in from New York. She called Elena into a glass-walled conference room packed with execs. "I watched the footage," Rachel said, "and I've got one question. How is someone like you serving drinks?" Elena looked down, voice soft. "Couldn't afford to finish my degree. My dad died. Had to support my family. This job paid rent." Rachel leaned in. "You fixed something 40 certified engineers couldn't. That makes you more than qualified." Then she smiled. "We'd like to make you an offer." It was more than Elena ever dreamed: a scholarship to finish her degree, a paid internship in robotics, and a guaranteed job if she proved herself. She sat frozen, hands trembling. "You're serious?" she asked. "Dead serious," Rachel said. "You didn't just save a robot, you saved our reputation. We don't let that kind of talent walk away." A few days later, Elena walked into work still in her uniform, but everything had changed. Cooks nodded. Guests smiled. Her coworker Maria grinned and whispered, "Girl, you've got gold in those hands." And Elena? She just smiled back. "I was tired of watching things break while I stood there doing nothing." Her story spread like wildfire: talk shows, online articles, viral clips. She became a symbol. not of overnight success, but of hidden potential, of quiet brilliance, of what can happen when someone finally gets a chance. She left the job with a toolkit engraved with her name, a new badge, and a laptop gifted by the same people who once doubted her. On her last day, the lobby erupted in applause as she walked out not as a server, but as a future engineer. Months passed. Elena traded aprons for circuit boards. She was just an intern on paper, but her designs made senior engineers pause. She didn't try to impress, she tried to learn, and that alone impressed everyone more. Then came an email from Rachel. New position. Your time. A new division, hospitality robotics innovation. Elena wasn't invited to join, she was asked to lead. Weeks later, at the Los Angeles launch, she walked on stage in a tailored blazer, presenting a robotic front desk system she helped build from scratch. Cameras flashed. Standing ovation. Backstage, Rachel smiled. Told you weren't meant to hide in the kitchen. But fame brings critics. Some whispered she moved too fast. Others doubted her without the traditional credentials. Elena didn't argue. She enrolled in night classes, studied harder, built smarter. She let her work speak louder than their doubts. And it did. She designed a repair algorithm that cut robot downtime by 30%. Presented it at a global expo. Collaboration offers flooded in. Journalists stopped calling her the waitress who fixed a robot. Now she was Elena Rivera, a rising force in AI. But she never forgot where she came from. She called her mom every night, visited the hotel once a month. One Sunday, she stood quietly beside the same robotic system she once saved, now running on her code. A new server approached her, eyes wide. Is it true you used to work here? Elena chuckled. Oh, it's true. Right where you're standing, I once spilled soup on a senator's shoes. The girl blinked. And now you're an engineer? Elena smiled. Yeah. And one day, you might be more than what they see, too. Her journey became a documentary beyond the tray. Students across the country watched it. At a STEM summit, a nervous girl asked, "What if no one believes in me?" Elena didn't miss a beat. Then be the first. That's how it starts. So what do you think? Was Elena lucky, or were they blind all along? Let's talk who gets overlooked in your world, and what would happen if we finally looked a little closer?